In the long and bloody chronicle of the American Civil War, some names rise to national memory: Robert E. Lee, Ulysses S. Grant, Stonewall Jackson. But others, though once spoken with reverence by their men, slipped quietly into the shadows of history. One of those men was Hiram Bronson Granbury, a Texan lawyer turned soldier, who rose to the rank of brigadier general in the Confederate Army, and whose death on a cold November night in Franklin, Tennessee, sealed his place in legend. Early years in Mississippi and Texas. Hiram Bronson Granbury was born in 1831 in Copiah County, Mississippi. Like many young men of the Old South, he was raised amid the values of honor, independence, and opportunity. By the time he reached adulthood, he had developed a sharp mind for debate and a sense of discipline that would serve him well in war. In the 1850s, Granbury moved west to Texas, a land of promise, but also of uncertainty. He studied law, and by 1855 he was admitted to the Texas bar. Granbury settled in Waco, then a bustling frontier community, where he quickly earned a reputation as both a skilled lawyer and an upright citizen. He even served as Chief Justice of McLennan County, showing an early aptitude for leadership. But Granbury's life was destined to shift from the courtroom to the battlefield. The coming of war. By 1861, the storm of secession was breaking across the South. Like many Texans, Granbury supported the Confederacy, though his reasons were layered: to state, part duty to Southern society, part belief in the constitutional right to secede. When war came, he put aside his judge's gavel and picked up a sword. Granbury joined the 7th Texas Infantry Regiment, a unit soon hardened by the rigors of military life. His natural ability to lead did not go unnoticed, and he rose quickly in rank, eventually becoming lieutenant colonel. His first great test came not on Texas soil, but far to the east, in Tennessee. Captured at Fort Donelson. In February 1862, Union forces under General Ulysses S. Grant descended upon Fort Donelson, a key Confederate stronghold on the Cumberland River. The 7th Texas fought valiantly, but the Union siege was overwhelming. Outnumbered and outgunned, the Confederate garrison surrendered after days of bitter combat. Granbury, along with thousands of other Southern soldiers, was taken prisoner. It was a bitter humiliation, but also a testament to his endurance. He was shipped north to a Union prison camp, where months of confinement tested both his spirit and his health. Yet he refused to let captivity define him. By late 1862, he was exchanged in a prisoner swap and returned to Confederate service. His men welcomed him back with cheers, for they knew Granbury was a commander who shared in their hardships, who fought alongside them rather than behind them. Granbury's Texas Brigade. Promoted to colonel, Granbury was given command of the 7th Texas Infantry, and eventually a full brigade. Largely made up of Texans, would carry his name into battle: Granbury's Texas Brigade. These men became his family. They followed him through the long campaigns of the Western Theater, from Mississippi to Georgia. Granbury's Texans fought at Raymond, Chickamauga, and Missionary Ridge, always in the thick of the fight. At Missionary Ridge in 1863, they faced disaster. Union troops stormed the ridge outside Chattanooga, overwhelming Confederate lines. Granbury's men fought stubbornly, buying time for the retreat, but the Confederate defeat was decisive. Still, Granbury's coolness under fire earned him respect. He was no reckless firebrand, but a steady hand, trusted by both his superiors and his men. The Atlanta Campaign. In 1864, the Union turned its focus to Georgia. General William Tecumseh Sherman marched toward Atlanta, opposed by Confederate General Joseph E. Johnston. Granbury and his brigade were at the forefront of this desperate defense. Through battles at Resaca, Kennesaw Mountain, and Peachtree Creek, Granbury's Texans fought with grit. At Pickett's Mill, his men repelled a fierce Union assault, inflicting heavy losses. Their performance was so notable that Granbury himself was promoted to brigadier general. This was the pinnacle of his career, a Texas lawyer who had risen from a county judge to a general of men in one of the most brutal wars in American history. But his greatest, and final, test was yet to come. The Battle of Franklin. November 30, 1864. Franklin, Tennessee. The Confederate Army of Tennessee, now under General John Bell Hood, faced a desperate gamble. Hood ordered a frontal assault against well-entrenched Union positions, an attack many considered suicidal. Granbury and his brigade were in the front lines. As the sun set, the Confederate wave surged forward across open fields toward Union fortifications. The air filled with musket fire, cannon blasts, and the screams of charging men. Granbury led from the front, urging his Texans onward. He was struck down in the chaos, one of 6 Confederate generals killed that night. The assault at Franklin became known as the Gettysburg of the West, a slaughter that broke the Army of Tennessee. Legacy of General Granbury. For his men, Granbury's death was a devastating blow. Many said they would never again fight under a leader they trusted so completely. His courage at Franklin turned him into a martyr of the Confederate cause. After the war, his memory lived on in Texas. The town of Granbury, Texas, was named in his honor, a lasting tribute to the man who had given his life in battle. Today, visitors to that small Texas town see his name on courthouses, schools, and streets, a reminder of the young lawyer-turned-general who once walked among them. Hiram Bronson Granbury's story is not just one of war, it is the story of how ordinary men are shaped by extraordinary times. From a Mississippi boy to a Texas judge, from prisoner of war to brigadier general, his journey mirrors the turbulence of a nation divided. He was not as famous as Lee or Jackson, nor as infamous as Hood or Forrest. But to the Texans who followed him through smoke and fire, Hiram Granbury was a leader worth dying for. And in the quiet town that bears his name, his memory endures, not as a symbol of defeat, but as a testament to loyalty, courage, and the high cost of civil war. Here lies Hiram Bronson Granbury, the lawyer, the soldier, the general, whose life ended in the smoke of Franklin, but whose name still rides in the wind across Texas.